Hello, this is John Locke. Today I want to talk with you about something personal. This is the anecdotal story of what happened when we changed our domain name. And if you're thinking about changing your domain name, maybe you'll learn from my own experiences here. So to set the stage, when I first launched the business in 2012, I was just using lockdowndesign.com as the name. Basically, I was building sites for other people, so local clients, other agencies, things of that nature. In summer 2017, I basically wanted to switch the focus of what I was doing from doing straight website builds into doing more SEO. And yeah, I still build websites. It's not the main focus of what we're doing now. It's more focused on SEO, and the web design and development is a part of that. There's a lot of reasons behind that. That could be a whole nother video. Basically, it was a decision that I had made. So I had written a lot of stuff about SEO on my blog before, but starting in late summer of 2017, I really wanted to start pushing it. I really started focusing just on writing about SEO, not so much web development anymore. I still get a lot of traffic from code tutorials and things of that nature, but I wanted to try and get more traffic from SEO. I was ranking okay in my local market for SEO, but really I was still ranking super high for web design. So there's a lot of things that I did to try and experiment with that. So you have to understand, at the time I was ranking #1 for Sacramento WordPress design and Sacramento WordPress web design. I had ranked #1 for about 2 years. It was the thing where I wanted to change. I wanted to move into SEO. Back to the story, a couple of things that I had tried at the time were changing the title tag of the homepage. I think it was focusing on, web design here in Sacramento. And then I changed it to, be more like about SEO. I changed the meta description, changed a lot of the things on the homepage. I changed a lot of the wording on the page. I actually did a redesign of the site. Right around that time too, I wanted to focus on a particular niche, and that was SEO for manufacturing firms, and I actually was pretty successful with that part of it right out the gate. But for some of these older articles that I had written on the blog, I still wasn't really ranking where I wanted to rank, so I wanted to do a little experiment. If you watched the video we did right before this about exact match domains and partial match domains, so the words in the actual domain name, the words in the actual web address, the URL, those actually play a part in how Google perceives your site. So I wanted to put this to the test. I changed the business name to Lockdown Design and SEO. I changed the actual domain name to Lockdown SEO to see if that would have an effect on how some of these things were ranking. Way to really measure this is by the amount of traffic that we were getting. You go into Google Analytics and you look at your active users, it'll give you a monthly number, and I think that's the average the last 4 weeks of your actual traffic. So I think what we were at was, for the first about 5 months of 2018, we were right around 27,000 active users per month, 26, 27, 28, right in that range each month. And when we changed the domain name, I was right around May 23rd of 2018. At that point, we had 27,000 active users for that month. So I changed the name, changed the domain name on the 23rd to Lockdown SEO. Before it was Lockdown Design. And so Google was ranking us really well for web design, but I was trying to see if we could rank better for SEO. And here's a very important part. I didn't do this until about May 28th. Don't do this, what I did, but there's a tool in Google Search Console where you do a change of address, change of web address. Basically, it tells Google, hey, we're changing the domain name from this to that. And so I did that about 5 days after I actually changed the domain. So I set up in my hosting, I host on WP Engine for my main site right now. I set up domain redirects in there to where any of the old links that I had from lockdowndesign.com, they would go to the corresponding web addresses at lockdownseo.com. Did that, did the change of web address in Google Search Console. So traffic did dip down for a little while. Any place where I still had control, Yelp, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, anything like that, I changed it to the new web address. Of course, a lot of the old backlinks, they're still from Lockdown Design, but those 301 redirect to the new web address. So traffic did go down overall for a little while. There is a time where Google is adjusting and crawling all the old links, crawling all the URLs, saying this is over here now. and it might still be going through the process for a couple of the, not as popular pages. I'm recording this, it's July 21st, 2018, so it's been about 2 months, maybe a hair under 2 months. We've got about 90% of our traffic back. I just looked at Google Analytics right now, and for this month it said it was 26,500 active users for this month. And right when we made the switch, it was like 27,000. Here's the part that I was hoping to get. The things that we were ranking #1 before, like we ranked #1 for a couple things. Like we have a social media color chart we were ranking #1 for right now. There's a lot of the code tutorials that we were ranking #1 or #2 for were right back up there again. But what's interesting to me is some of the articles that I had written before. In particular, there's one about why your Yelp reviews get filtered out. There's another one about doing SEO for a single page website, and some other ones that like previously were not really ranking at all before. Those particular ones have boosted up, so I can say that there's probably something to that. So the domain name change probably did have an effect. It looks like we're ranking higher here in our local market in Sacramento for SEO, and we're actually ranking pretty well for industrial SEO and manufacturing SEO. These are pages that were maybe about a year old at this point. I would say that this changing a domain name has been successful. I think we've also had some reviews where people mention the SEO work that we've done for them, so that could also play a part into that. Keep in mind the things that you have to do when you're changing a domain name. Make sure that you have 301 redirects in place to where you're not losing any of that link equity from links that you've built out on other sites before. Change your domain name in anywhere where you have the ability to do that, like Google, Yelp, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever. And then also measure if changing that domain name is having a positive effect. So it took us a little under like 2 months to get 90 or 95% of our traffic back, and we're actually ranking better for the things that we wanted to rank better for as far as SEO. And I think all these little changes are helping Google see that we're not primarily in this web design bucket, we're more in this SEO bucket at this point. So that's my experience. I hope that helps some of you that are considering, if you're considering changing your domain name, just kind of what to expect. I hope that you get some value from this. If you have a SEO question that you'd like to ask us, go ahead and leave it in the comments below and we'll answer it out in a video for you. My name's John Locke. My business is Lockdown Design and SEO. We help manufacturing and industrial firms get more organic inbound traffic through Google, and we help them get more RFQs. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace. So the positioning around that was really something critical. Again, we build websites. That's just part of the deal.